Senator, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Fine, fine. Here working a lot, but that's part of the game.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me.
No, thank you for your time. I was looking forward to talk to you a little bit. Let's start clarifying something. In your eyes, Puerto Rico is or is not a colony of the USA in terms of international law?
You know, I believe that obviously the history of U.S.-Puerto Rican relations are complex. It is a territory, and the status, I think, has to be determined. Obviously, Puerto Ricans are U.S. citizens. There's controversy on the islands in terms of how to move forward. And my commitment as president is to make sure that the people of Puerto Rico have an opportunity to make that decision. We're going to set up a process that all groups can buy into, and we're going to figure out what status the majority of people in Puerto Rico prefer. In the meantime, my job is to make sure that I'm the president not just of the 50 states, but the territories as well, and that means that I'm going to be fighting as hard as I can on behalf of Puerto Rican issues, making sure that Medicaid and Medicare are properly funded so that people have health care, making sure that our veterans in Puerto Rico have the same benefits as veterans anywhere else, making sure that education is properly funded and college is affordable. Those are all issues, obviously, that are extremely important and that need to be solved now.
You've said you want to promote a self-determination process, but you're now a senator. Why haven't you presented a bill to promote self-determination now, since you're in the right place to do it?
Well, actually, there are a number of different proposals that have been coming out of the House, and my preference would be to have members of the Puerto Rican delegation in the House take the lead on it. It's not something that I want to impose on the people of Puerto Rico, and so I think it's important for me to listen and learn and work through a process that everybody agrees to, as opposed to simply imposing my own views on the situation.
In what time you'll solve the island's status issue? Do you have a time frame?
I'd like to see this issue dealt with in my first term.
Puerto Rico almost doesn't have any military installations now. The Cold War is over. In what way can Puerto Rico be useful to the USA in the 21st century, from your perspective?
The question, I think, is not how Puerto Rico can be useful to the United States. I think the question is how Puerto Rico, as part of the United States, can thrive and prosper in this 21st century economy. And I think that the people of Puerto Rico have enormous talents and enormous gifts. Obviously, there is a constant flow of people back and forth between the islands and cities like New York and Chicago and my home city. And the creativity and the energy that they bring, I think, is very important. But in order for us to realize that potential, I think we've got to do a better job in terms of economic development on the islands. I think that we have to look at how we can promote new industries, like, for example, the biodiesel industry.
Yes.
I think there's a possibility of promoting alternative fuels and clean energy on the island that could be very powerful. But it's not something that we have done enough to emphasize.
Yes.
We have not focused on economic development in the ways that we should. That's going to be a top priority when I'm president.
Julio, we have time for one last question.
Okay. I just wanted to know, I have two little things now. I just wanted to know if you're accepting the invitation for a debate by Univision Puerto Rico.
No, I'm not going to be able to debate. We only have a week left, and we've got 3 states. And so I want to spend as much time talking to people directly as I can. And obviously, by me doing interviews like this, people are able to ask any questions that they want.
Just one thing. You, in your book, Dreams from My Father, you said that when you moved to New York, you lived in a neighborhood with Puerto Ricans. I just wanted to know, what do you recall from that time living between Puerto Ricans in New York?
Oh, well, we have very close relations with a lot of Puerto Rican families. Actually, my wife's best friend is Puerto Rican. Her mother still lives on the island, and so it has always been a culture that I feel close to. Partly because I grew up on an island myself. Obviously, I come from a mixed background,
yes,
as do many people on the island, and so I think the idea of the blend of cultures and the island traditions are things that matter a lot to me, and that's why I'm looking forward to being able not only to represent Puerto Rico as President of the United States, but also to visit again after the presidency, something that no sitting president has done since JFK.
Mm-hmm. Your background can be attractive for some, but frightening to some other people. And the fact that you have links with Muslim country, your family and all, have started all kind of rumors and speculations.
Yeah,
what's your answer to all of that, boss?
Sure, Julio, that those rumors are all false. It's as people know me and they know that I'm a Christian, that these emails that get sent or the rumors that get sent are all complete